Now, I know we've already done a video going through this, but the reason I mention this is because some people seem to be a little bit confused about like the logic behind Yama contracts or what the idea is, all right? Because look, a lot of this, I need to make this clear at the start of every video. I'm not shitting on gnomonkey, okay? I disagree with some shit he says, but I'm not shitting on him. I've seen his recent videos. You might be pleasantly surprised that I agree with some of the stuff he said in his recent video, okay? But the reality is that he's fucking wrong about a few things. And the reason I mention this is gnomonkey the most here is because he's making he's making a big impact on the community's opinions on how content should be done and is done, right? The problem is gnomonkey can't do fucking math. Okay, it's a fact. He sucks at math. He always has, and that's just that's why he's in Oldschool Runescape, because everyone in RS3 chased him out for it, and he's doing the same here. Look at the way that mixed hide works. So, Awakener's Orbs, I understand his point and concern, and people don't like Awakener's Orbs because you have to pay to try fight a boss, okay? And the contracts are doing the same thing, where it's going to be you have to pay to try fight a boss. And if you beat the Awakened bosses and you unlock Blood Torva, people don't want to have to pay 887k to keep fighting these bosses, right? Because the argument is, well, they should be free, because now that you've finished the boss fight, you should be able to fight the Awakened variants for free, right? I get that. That's a fair argument. That's a legitimate claim. It's a cosmetic, right? You're exactly right. But people want to keep doing the Awakened bosses to do challenges, right? Like the main argument is for speedruns, right? The other argument is people don't have enough money to be able to buy these orbs. If you don't have enough money to buy these orbs to do Awakened bosses, you likely don't even have Torva or need the cosmetic. Now, I understand wanting to do the challenge. Okay, I get that. But that's kind of the whole point of the Awakened bosses. That's the point of it being prestigious and high-end. By the time you get to this point in your account, you should have some sort of surplus to be able to fund trying some of these bosses. If you run out of money, guess what? You go back and you try it again. The idea with the Yama contracts is for the cosmetics is that the way that you can farm them, the way that they will be pushed into the game, they should be significantly cheaper than 800k, and you won't need, you need, was it 20,000 blood runes per piece of Torva. So you won't need 60,000 fucking blood runes, which, how much is a blood rune? The blood rune's what, 290? You won't need 17 mil worth of blood runes on top of that. Which, okay, fair enough. If you're at the stage where you are able to competitively do Awakened bosses, GP should not be an issue. That's exactly right. Now, the other thing people don't realize is that this is one thing gnomonkey doesn't mention at all. And this is why people's arguments on the Awakener's Orbs is invalid, okay? It's really dumb. And I'll pull the post up just so we're all on the same page. I don't know why he doesn't mention this. The only argument I think is valid that he did make briefly was if you get Blood Torva, you unlock Blood Torva, you've spent your Awakener's Orb money, you spent millions, you should be able to fight the bosses again for free without Awakener's Orbs. Cool. But you don't get a drop. There's no loot. That is the only valid argument I think he's made that would make sense. Because if I go, what is it, July, I think? Fair? Exactly. But then why the fuck would you do it? That's the next question you ask yourself. Why the fuck would I do it? Perfect for speedrunners? Excellent. Then fuck off. But for people that want to farm these bosses, okay, if you look here on, I want to say it's this one here, tweaks and drop rates. Here you go. Yeah, perfect. What it says here is that the Awakened variants of these bosses have 3x chance to hit the unique table. Now, I've done a little bit of math, all right? Not gnomonkey math. I've done real math, okay? I'm not confident that my math is 100% correct, but on average, Vardavis is currently 10.4 mil GP an hour. If you do a Vardavis efficiently, about 30 kills an hour. If you do about 25 Awakened Vardavis kills an hour, and that's efficient, best in slot, and if you bring Oathplate into the game, that 10.4 mil GP an hour climbs up into the 22 mil an hour range. 22 mil an hour farming Vardavis Awakened version. Okay? That's a fuck ton of money per hour. The orb table is separate. Yes, this is yes, but these are just the unique drop rates. This is for Virtus, Ring Piece, Axe Piece, things like that. This is pre Awakened variants. This is 3x chance. You should be looking at about 22 mil an hour roughly. But if you're doing 25 Vardavis kills an hour as well, right? Awakened kills, they're 880k each at the moment. Times that by 25. you're spending 22 mil an hour anyway. So you're pretty much breaking even if you're farming Awakens. That's provided you don't die at Vardavis. This is Vardavis specifically. That's provided you don't die at him and you kill him efficiently the majority of the time. You're roughly breaking even. If you're lucky, you make money. If you're unlucky, you lose money. To remove the need for Awakened Orbs once you get Blood Torva, doubles your profit per hour at Vardavis at no cost, no expense. And that's a bad thing, right? Because that would fuck the economy. That's when, you know, that's when your Virtus is no longer worth 50 mil for a top. Because you're now printing it at 3x the rate. So sinks as well, the sinks aren't really super valid with Awakened Orbs because they come into the game as a drop, and there's no, like, the only gold that's like kind of sunk when trading Awakened Orbs is the GE tax, really, right? And then obviously the gold you pay for when you die at Death's Coffer. Solid 500 at 12 mil an hour, that's it. Yeah, Vardavis is a fucking solid 10 mil an hour already. It doubles. Pretty much all the Awakened bosses double, but Vardavis and Whisperer both jump up like a good 10 mil, while Duke and Leviathan are around the 6 mil mark. So to not have to use an Awakened Orb is absurd, because I don't think people are realizing how much gold per hour you efficiently gain by using killing the Awakened variants. The shit thing is the orb. Yes, the Awakened Orb sucks. Like the whole Awakened Orb system, it is shit. But you are doubling your GP per hour effectively, because what the unique draw table, this here, these items, including the ingot, unfortunately, because Jagex, this makes up like 40 to 60% of the drop table, like, hourly rate at any one time, given how valuable Virtus is, the Vestige, which you can now make super easy because you don't need the ingots anymore. So these are even easier to turn into your fucking rings. And the Ultra Ring is fucking 200 mil. So it's probably even more than that now, right? So that's why I think people need to be a bit more considerate about what they're saying before they kind of push it out. Now, my numbers aren't, I'm not giving you the exact numbers because I don't actually know to a T what they are. And it obviously varies on your luck and how decent you are, but a lot of people argue, but Awakened bosses are hard. Okay. But once, like Vorkaf was hard when you first did it, and now it's easy. The Inferno used to be hard, but you've done it 6 times now, it's easy. The Colosseum, I bet, was hard on release. How many times have you killed Soul now? Double digits, looking for the pet? All it takes is Awakened Vardavis. After 20, 30 kills, you're doing that shit easy, man. Kill times on Awakened bosses won't be consistent either. They won't be consistent, but Vardavis will get more consistent with Oath Plate, and the better you get, the more consistent they can get too, right? This is just going at the most efficient rate in both, right? They should never have put such high rates behind Awakened Orbs. The bonus rarity should have been lower and the boss free to attempt. They could have done that, right? But it's too late in the game now. They can't change that. My point is that people are making this Awakened Orb argument that the system sucks. It does, but if you remove the Awakened Orbs, you effectively crash the market. There's only one reason, really, in my mind. Well, there's one main reason why Virtus is still this expensive today, and it's not because it does extra damage with fucking Ancients. Because Virtus and Arams are essentially the same. It's just a 1% damage difference, right? It's not because... It's not 50 mil because you get 6% damage on Ancient Magics. That's a lot of horseshit. Remove orbs, lower rates, easy fix. How do you remove orbs? Where are people that spend money on orbs? You can't do it now. It's too late. They should just leave it as it is. I think it's fine. It's just how it is. Desert Treasury bosses are just shit. It's just the way they are. What they're doing with the contracts is fixing a lot of these issues. Because, while yes, the contracts can be looked at like Awakener's Orbs, where you have to get the drop then use it, but you're getting a guaranteed drop. So you're getting, provided you can get the kill on Yama, which after enough practice you'll be able to get, and most players will. You will be able to. It just takes time. Once you get through that steep hurdle, which guess what? It's endgame challenging content. It's not meant to be fucking easy. You're guaranteeing, ideally, in my mind, what this tells me is your money back. Because I don't know what they're going to offer. When it says particularly those with guaranteed tradable rewards, how is it not going to give you something massive like a piece of Oath Plate and you not get your money back, right? Can you Slay Home on the Awakened versions? You cannot use Slay Home on Awakened versions, I'm pretty sure. It even says the on-task boost of Slay Home will not work in the fight against the Awakened bosses, so no, you cannot. Virtus plus 1% over Aaron's can be some max hits with Sanging, certainly with the Shadow plus spray bonus. It can be, but it's not 50 mil worth. Like the Virtus top is 50 mil for so you're looking at 78 mil for the mask top and bottom versus full Aaron's, which is probably 6 mil for 3% damage. It's just not worth it, man. It's in no way worth it. With the shadow, I understand that, but even then, it's just not fucking worth it. You're probably better off just buying one piece of Ancestral, running the rest ARMs. You get a similar fucking damage boost, right? Mid-late mains don't have much money to spend on. I think people are definitely overcomplicating it. Now, we don't know what Yama contract's going to cost because we don't know what they give yet. It's top is big for Inferno. The top's big for Inferno. ARMS does fine in the Inferno at the end of the day. If you're short on cash, use ARMS. My point is that the stats that the Virtus gives isn't the reason it's 50 mil. It's because it's 1 in 3 fucking thousand from Vardavis to get. It's because it's fucking rare. It's hard to get. And if you were to make Awakened bosses free to do once you get Blorva, which people pay for that service, by the way, to get it done really quick, it'll also boost the amount of times it's serviced. And then you triple the rate that they drop that. You're just going to bring way more into the game. The drop rate is kind of disgusting. Yeah, it is disgusting. But on the Awakened version, it's only 1 in 1,000 for a specific piece, right? The chance to hit the unique table goes from 1 in 136 to 1 in 40 or some shit. 1 in 48. You should be getting a drop on this table once every 2 hours, ideally, at Awakened Vardavis, and that's on average. That's a specific piece. You don't look at the rates that any piece will drop. Exactly, the rates any will drop is 1 in 136. That's without Awakened Lord. With Awakened, it triples. What's Awakened Whisperer? Best drop rates, easiest Awakened boss. It's similar. It's similar rates to Vardavis. Because Whisperer is 8 mil an hour. It gets close to 20 mil an hour as well. You know. All of a sudden, it's 1 in 64. You triple that, like 3x that. What's that? It's 1 in 27. On Whisperer with Awakened, and Whisperer is fucking. It's fucking cheeks, dude. So I just want to make that point clear, that it's not being mentioned that Awakened's orbs give a 3x chance on top of the current rates. No monkey can't do math. It's not being mentioned when people are rallying against the Awakened's orbs. I'm not trying to defend Awakened's orbs at the same time, right? Because I do think the system is dumb. I have to save my Awakened's orbs and then fucking burn them anyway. As an Iron, I was hoping it would be easy to get the DT2 when DT2 came out, and was disappointed finding how rare it was. Honestly, it's not worth going for Virtus on an Ironman. You go ARMS and then you go to Cox and you get Ancestral. You skip Virtus on an Ironman. It is not worth grinding it. ARMS is perfect, dude. ARMS is so good on a main and on an Ironman because it's easy to get. Same with Blue Moon, right? It's easy to get. It's 6 mil or some shit for the whole set, if that. Where can I find the whole set? ARMS the Blooded set? Yeah, it's 6 mil and that's including the hood. And it's fucking good, man. It's the best you get. There's fuck all difference. If you happen to get Virtus, it's good. Yeah, if you get Virtus, that's lucky. Nice work. But you shouldn't camp for Virtus. You should just go straight to Ancestral because Cox is just so much more consistent. So, the idea for these contracts being cheaper is so that you don't have to pay so much money in Bloods as well to be able to get the cosmetic Oath Plate like you do with the Blood Torva, right? Which is fine. And that's why they're going to be through like the Yama Slayer system. But the argument a lot of people have is Awakener Orbs are too expensive to farm the Awakened bosses to go for Blood Torva, and that Yama is going to be the same. The contract's going to be too expensive. We're not going to have the money to be able to buy them and farm these bosses. If you farm Yama, you get your own contracts. You know? Practice them or sell them and make money elsewhere. Like, that's the point of the game. Like, it's like people are complaining that they're being gate-kept away from super hard content, but then want super hard content to fight. I think adding that level of risk is a good idea. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I think, like I've never looked at Desert Treasure 2 bosses and gone, I wish they didn't do Awakened versions. I just looked at it and went, well, that's going to be hard. I better save up a bunch of orbs if I want to do that. Right? Once you have Bandos, Fang, Bofra, and Zenites for mains, Virtus' next upgrade. Sang for the money is only worth if you need the heals. It's not much more damage than the Trident. Yeah, and it's more expensive to run than the Shadow at the moment, the Sang too, which is memes. I think contracts should be untradeable, to be honest. Well, if contracts are untradeable, it does bottleneck a lot of the game, and it does create like a big... it creates a very luck-based stigma around Yama. Now, unless they were untradeable, but you were like guaranteed to get one every so often or doing certain things, sure. But then that ruins like that. What happens there is then you force players to farm certain items for certain contracts, right? Because if certain contracts are going to give specified items, like this contract will give this item, this contract's guaranteeing this item, people will just farm one certain contract. It's kind of like TOA. People only use a certain, like there are certain invocations that never get used because they're horseshit, right? To be able to get certain invocation levels. It's a very similar mindset. If you have shit contracts, if they're untradeable and you make it random, it's just a terrible system because then you could be sitting there farming and go dry on this contract you really need for hours and hours. I don't mind the contracts being tradable. I mean, I don't play a main very often now anyway. It doesn't bother me regardless. But I don't think it's too big of a deal. That way it gives you a variety of contracts to try. You don't have to worry about farming specific ones to be able to do certain upgrades. And it also creates an economy around the contracts. Maybe you get a contract that's too hard for you. Instead of you doing it, it's worth 20 mil. You just sell it. You've made 20 mil. Like like a lot of people might feel like they're gate kept out of these contracts because they don't have the money for it. But if you get the contract as a drop from doing the normal Yama fight, you've made money. So like it really depends on how good these contract rewards are. The better the rewards are from the contracts, the more money you can make by just simply not doing them. And instead of feeling gate kept out of the content, you just make money off of not doing it. So it's a win-win, right? It creates a best of both worlds scenario. And I think that's a relatively valid argument that I've not seen anyone make. Don't contracts come from demons? No, the demons in the Chasm of Fire, those contracts are purely for the cosmetic, and they can also come from Yama. But if you don't want to farm Yama for them, you can just do like Yama Slayer, basically. Basically like doing Obor keys, like the giant keys or mossy keys. But you kill the little ones for contracts, and then you go and kill the Awakened Yama, basically, with that contract. But it's purely for the cosmetics, not for anything tradable. So I would imagine there's probably anywhere between 1 and 3 contracts that are with untradables. Depends if they do it like one contract can do all 3 Oath Plate pieces, or it's one contract for a different Oath Plate piece. I'm not sure. They did say there's 7 contracts, so who fucking knows? But I 100% think that the way the contract system is here is it creates an economy for those that either can't or don't want to do the harder version of Yama because you can just sell them, and if the rewards are good, it's big money. It creates a challenge for those that want to push themselves with more risk but a guaranteed reward, which makes it better than Awaken the Zords because you're spending 800k on a kill, and if you get the kill and you get nothing back, you've wasted 800k. But if you do the contract, you spend 60 mil on a contract, and then in return you get an Oath Plate helmet, which is 66 mil. You've made money because you're guaranteed to get it. Creates def coffer fodder for irons. It does, absolutely, as well. And it also, I think it helps maintain the value of certain items, like the Virtus Robe Top is being maintained, or the Virtus in general is being maintained based on how fucking rare and dog shit it is to farm. I think that absolutely has something to do with it being worth 50 fucking mil. Because it's a 0 upgrade over Arams at the end of the day. So that's what I think personally. I think that there's a lot of angles from this that aren't being looked at because fucking, G-bangers looking at it like, what about speedrunners that want to push it without having to pay for it? Well, you're a fucking speedrunner. The game isn't designed around what you want. Go fucking pay the fucking Awaken Zord fee, The rare items will have longevity. They absolutely will, provided that the contracts are just like as rare as they are worth, We don't know what they will be yet. We don't know what the drop rates will be. We don't know how strong or what items they're going to be giving. That really is up to Jagex to balance it. But the system makes sense. I know there's a problem people have that the Awakened Yama isn't going to be duo anymore, even though it's advertised as duo. I get that. What Jagex has done is, I think, the safest route. It makes sense from almost every angle except the fact that they didn't mention it prior until today. Yama comes out, yes, in 2 days. Great way to put another wall up for people who use micros and bots. Fully backing the idea of this, honestly. I mean, yeah, it does bottleneck people who well, not necessarily bots, because bots will do it flawlessly, but it does bottleneck a bit of the game, which I think is fine, because it's not bottlenecking a huge portion of the game, because at the end of the day, if you can't do the contract, or you're not ready to do contract, you can sell them, and hopefully these tradable ones will go for a lot more money. That's the idea. That's what I get from this, at least. Whisperer has a 1 in 512 KC for Virtus. Yes, it does. But Awakened Whisperer, so 1 in 512 KC for Virtus, yes. Awakened Whisperer will have a 1 in 21 point something chance at rolling the unique drop table from there onwards, which is the point of why you should absolutely keep the Awakener's Orb alive. Why, even though it's a shit system, it makes sense to keep them. The only reason you would ever take Awakener's Orbs away for free Awakener fights would be if there was no drop, which would completely defeat the purpose unless you wanted to speedrun, I guess. But that's a speedrunner problem, and speedrunner problems are mostly self-inflicted because that's the point of speedrunning. You can't like do your best to like push the limits of the game or exploit the game or try to reach the absolute boundaries of what's available in the game and then complain when those boundaries are hit, right? Or when it's like, oh, I can't go any further than this. Well, yeah, because that's how it's fucking designed, dickhead. So go as fast as you can with what you've got. That's, I believe, the fucking point. The combat achievements for Awakened versions, yes, every boss, there's a treasure boss has a combat achievement. Yeah, it's just the Duke Sleeper. There you go, Kill Awakened Duke. Yeah, they've all got that. I haven't done any speedrunning yet because I've only done this boss on fucking Slayer Task. So that's what give them a different currency. No, you just don't. You just make it so they're free, but you get nothing for it. Because why would you kill the Awakened versions if not for profit after already doing Blood Torva? So it's going to be the same with Yama now, except the best part about the contracts is they're guaranteed. It's not a 3x drop rate, it's you're definitely getting money. So it's going to be more incentive, and the contract's going to be worth far more. I guarantee you, if you're getting an oath plate legs from a contract guaranteed item, the contract will be worth just as much as those fucking plate legs, if not slightly less than the plate legs, since there's risk with the contract. And if the legs are going for 200 mil, that contract's going to be a juicy 100 something plus mil. Like, why the fuck wouldn't it? It makes no sense not to. So yeah, you might be like, oh, I can't afford that contract. Alternatively, if you get that contract drop, you fucking sell it and you wait for it to get cheaper. You wait for people to figure it out. You go nuts, you know? You can make some serious fucking bank. If it's just guaranteeing fucking shit on a stick, because it says tradable drops, I don't know what it's going to be, but it doesn't make sense for it to guarantee a tradable drop and it just be like fucking 200 rune ore. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Also, speedrunners are the type of people who like the Naruto characters in real life. I don't even know what that means. But yeah, I agree. So I just want to share that opinion, that thought, that mindset of the Yama contracts. I do think No Monkey's last video, he was on the ball with a few things. Absolutely. But he's completely ignoring a key and important part of how Awakener's Orbs work. And what they actually provide for the game. And again, continues to reassure us with the fact that his main priority is speedrunners, because he says a lot of people aren't going to be able to afford this. If you're not at Torva, if you can't afford Torva, it's likely you can't even afford to be going for the Whisperer stuff anyway. And it's the whole point of it being end game content. It's not just Port Kazard that's going to be doing this shit. I was practicing, well, not I had to go at a few Awakened bosses like day 2. It wasn't that fucking hard to get your hands on orbs. Same thing's going to be with the contracts. You're not going to be able to do contracted Yama for another 9 days. Plenty of time to farm contracts, build them up. It's going to be fine. One gun, how are you, man? It's also it's a great way also for folks who aren't at the skill level to also make a fat profit. Yes, if you don't have money in this game, farm these contracts. I predict, provided that this mechanic works the way that they're saying it works, guaranteed tradable rewards. If these are in any way part of the unique drop table, you're going to make some big fucking money doing these contracts. If it's not, if it's a generic reward, then why the fuck would you ever do them except for combat tasks? It would make no sense. So for contracts to be alive, that would be the case in my opinion. Farming contracts from Yama will make you some big fucking money. So it sounds like no matter what, even with the new mining, this Yama update is going to bring a way for everyone to make money. It doesn't matter who you are. Early on, doing this Yama Slayer, like the first week, even the first 9 days, I think if you're not interested in Yama, or you're not keen on doing Yama, or you're not sure you can do it yet, the first 9 days since Yama releases moving forward, you should be doing this Yama Slayer shit. This, killing demons in the Chasma Fire, and get as many contracts as you can, because you're not going to be able to use these contracts till May the 23rd. People are going to want to stack the fuck up on contracts. So, this is like a warning to you all now. If you want to make money, Wednesday, as soon as the update drops, I'll be live. So don't worry, you can farm them while watching your boy do some fucking Yama. But if you want to make fat money on a main, you go to the Chasm of Fire, you bring a cannon, you crash as many motherfuckers as you can, and you start farming these contracts. It's going to be big money. One of the uniques will be super high priced first week of Yama. Of course they will be, yeah. Yeah. Buy cannibals now and mole slippers, absolutely. Yeah, you're going to want to fucking do this. Because people are going to stack up. They are. Especially for cosmetics and then any other contracts through Yama, absolutely, for sure. So do that. I recommend it. And also don't forget Awakened variants to have 3x chance to hit the unique table. Pretty sure my math is a lot more accurate than good old G-bangers. This is the easiest room in the raid. It's quite simple. You got a big boy. Look at him. God damn. Fuck me. Look at that boy.